In this video, I'm going to go over the various settings and options for the controller and display on this Ridstar e-bike. It's equipped with an M5 display. I'll also go over what the different buttons do and their functions. Now, this display is common among many Ridstar bikes and also various other e-bikes that are equipped with the M5. A link to the full manual is in the description, so let's get started on the settings. With this specific bike, in order to turn it on, you turn the battery power on, you turn the key on, and then you'll hold the display button, and there you have it. It will turn on. Now, the default display is what you see here. I did change it to miles per hour. The odometer's at the bottom. Now, to cycle through, I'll go through the various buttons here. The power button, if you tap it, it goes through the trip odometer. It also rotates through, that's the voltage. It also shows the current, although in this particular bike, the current doesn't work while I'm riding. It doesn't register, which I wish it would. This is the time elapsed while riding. And then back to the odometer, so it cycles through. Now, the plus and minus button allow you to change the pedal assist level from 0 through 5. 0 is nothing, 5 is the max. It gets about 31 miles an hour or 50 kilometers. And that's how you go through the different pedal assist modes. If you hold the plus and the power button, the default is the speed that you have currently, like you see here. But if you hold the plus and power button, it will cycle through to the max speed, and then you'll cycle through to the next one is your average speed for the trip. And then you hold it again and it will go back to the current speed. Now, if you hold the minus button down, it goes into what they call walk mode, which is 3 miles an hour and allows you to walk with the bike or load it into a back of a truck. To stop that, you can either hit the negative button or any brake has a motor cutoff switch. Now, to get to the advanced setting menu, what you're going to do is you're going to hold the plus and minus button, and it will jump into the different settings. There's different settings, P01 through 020. Now, 01 is the backlight display. In order to change that, you want it to be brighter. You can simply say the plus or minus button. It'll cycle through. So 1 is the dimmest, 3 is the brightest. So I just kept it middle of the road at 2. And then I'm going to hit the power button. It goes to the next setting. P2 is where you're going to change the miles to kilometers or vice versa. 0 is kilometers and miles is 1. So I have it set to 1 because I'm here in the US, 0 for everywhere else. The P03 is the voltage, the nominal voltage for the battery. In this case, it's 48 volt. If you have another bike, it could be lower, but I left this as the default. P04 is the dormancy. This is how long the screen will shut off. So after 10 minutes is the default, the screen will automatically shut off. Moving over to P05, this is the help file bit. I don't know what that is, but I left that as the default. P06 is the wheel diameter in inches. It's set to 23. I left that as the default. P07 is the speed gauge magnets. I left that as the default at 1. I didn't mess with it. P08, this is what you need to change the max speed. I have it set to 100. That's 100 kilometers per hour. This bike doesn't do 100 kilometers per hour, but that leaves it as the unlimited, so it gives it the max power out there. So that might be limiting you if you want your bike to go faster. You'll want to set that to 100 or the highest setting possible. So going on to P09, this is 0 start, non-start. So this I left as the default. Moving on to P10, this is the drive mode setting. This is where I set this to 2. So setting 2 allows you to use the throttle and also pedal. If you want to set it just to 0, it's throttle only and the pedaling doesn't give you a cadence. And 1 is that you have to pedal and the throttle is deactivated. So moving on to P11, this is the help sensitivity. I left this as the default. You can throttle this up and down as you pedal. It'll give you sensitivity. P12, this is where you want it to start from. I set it to 1. You can set from 0 to 1 as a safety feature. This is what the default will be when the bike turns on, and the pedal assist level will be set to that. Jumping into P13 is the power magnets. I left this as the default 12. P14, this is what you want to change to get the most speed out of the bike. I set it to the max, which is 20, but if I cycle through, I think the default was set to 15, which limited the bike's performance to output only 15 amps. So I set it to the max, which in this case is 20. I had another Ridstar I was able to get 22 amps from. P15 is the controller undervolt. This is when the power will shut off, when the battery gets down to 39 volts. Now you could change this to 36 if you want to go further, but that further depletes the battery and could damage it. Moving on to P16, this is the odometer reset. This is where you will reset the odometer if you need to, but it's just simpler to just turn the bike on and off in my opinion. P17 is the cruise control enabled or not enabled. This feature doesn't work for me, but it may work on other bikes. For settings P18, this is the display speed ratio. I left this as the default. I didn't change that, left it as 100. P19 is the power bit file. I left that as 0. And P20 is the protocol. I'm not sure what that is, but I left that as the default. And then you can see that it cycled back to P01. Now, if I leave it dormant, it will eventually go back to the default menu. There you have it. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. I hope that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching. Let's see how she does off-road. Not bad. Woo! Let's see how she does on this hill. Pretty darn good, I'm impressed.